God. Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm JJ, and I'm on the wrong side. Why am I on the wrong side? I think Deacon was here first today. Let's swap places. Now it looks like I'm talking to you, sir. Good morning, everybody. I'm JJ. This is Deacon. Right there, that's Deacon. And this is rumble.com/JJW, where we drink coffee in the mornings, Monday through Friday, and we talk about politics, news, pop culture, media, dad shit, all kinds of stuff. This show is not for kids, but it is for you if you have kids. That's extra. Is that extra Slurpee? Extra
Man,
Slurpee.
this coffee's good this morning.
Deacon puts cinnamon. He dumps like a bunch of cinnamon in his
Just a little bit.
coffee.
Just a little bit of cinnamon.
I just have my Lone Star cup borrowed from my in-laws this morning.
Cinnamon is good to lower your blood sugar, kiddos. So remember that. Always put a little cinnamon.
Cinnamon just tastes good too.
Cinnamon tastes good. We in the wintertime, and I can't wait for this because Ashley always does this. She will get a bunch of little oranges or the little cuties or whatever they're called, and we'll eat them. But we'll take the peels, the orange peels and the cutie peels, and she'll put them in a little bit of water on the stove, and then she puts some cinnamon sticks in there with the orange peels. And like turns the stove on and kind of boils it a little bit, not really boil it, but kind of heat it. It smells so good. It's like an aroma that she just does it for the aroma in the house. The orange peels.
She's not even making anything.
No. She just sits there and just lets it. It doesn't boil. It's not a boil, but it just kind of. It smells so good in the house, man.
Wow.
Orange peels and cinnamon and some water on the stove.
All right.
It smells good. It really does. I can't wait for that. That's like a holiday thing around our house. That smell.
All right. Well, Deacon, how's your morning? Are you rolling okay today?
Hanging loose, man. Just hanging loose.
Let me tell you. Yesterday was Monday, right?
Yeah.
How was our little show? Okay. So it's like a 4-hour drive, unless you have kids. And then it's like a half of a day and easily. I got this like bag thing that goes on my car, and it's basically like 15 cubic feet of trunk space. And I put it on top of I have like an SUV, whatever, but we're driving, me, my wife, my kids, my dog, all of us. So like there's no room for luggage in the car. So I put all the luggage on top of the car. So after the show yesterday, my wife goes to work, I'm watching the kids, and at the same time I'm packing like everything we need in the car. And then that goes okay. It just takes a little longer than it needs to. My kids are like getting more and more restless. And then around noon, my wife comes home from her job, and then within like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, we're ready to go. We pack in the car and we leave the house, and immediately my kids are like, I have to go. I'm hungry. Like, we were just at the house. What do you mean? I fed you food before she even came home. And then it was like, we pulled over, and then we, first time ever, we gave them these tablets. They're educational tablets. Like, they're not just for them to play on. It's for them to draw the letters and do words, right, and add various educational activities. Then the first time ever, I gave it to them with no like time limits constrained, and they wanted to watch like a video that I had downloaded. So I downloaded this video, I put it on there and on tablet, and then they're screaming at each other because like the youngest one can't figure out how to operate the tablet and push the wrong thing, and she's just hitting it and trying to get it to work. And I'm driving the car. It's pouring rain. My one kid is yelling at the other, and I'm like, oh my God.
It's raining.
Yeah. It was like such bad rain that it was like I could see 50, 60 feet in front of me, and then it's just white because it just gets like gray white and mist everywhere, and you just can't see anything. And people are running up behind me, and I'm like, dude, I'm not driving any faster than this. I am loaded for bear. So I ended up pulling over and buying my kids these headphones. And let me tell you, so far I am highly reluctant to give my kids anything tech because I just don't want them like consumed by it. Right?
We've talked about this before. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. But I bought them these headphones because I knew they had these video, and I wanted them to be able to kind of enjoy it or whatever. So and also, less
You
screaming,
wanted some peace.
less a little less screaming for the ride would be good. So we
Yeah.
bought them these headphones, and I pull over in the rain. I go into the Ross and I buy them these kid headphones. I bring them out, and there's a good 5 minutes of screaming about that too. But then after that, during the drive home, one of my youngest daughter is watching her little video with her little headphones, and she's not talking. Normally she'll talk. I mean, she just talks all the time. She's not talking, she's listening, and she starts giggling. And I look over at my wife, and my wife looks at me, and like, we never hear this. She laughs a lot, but it's laugh, scream, laugh, talk, laugh.
And she's giggling. Oh, that's
You
awesome.
just like giggle. And I was like, oh my God, this is worth it.
Yeah, that's worth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So
$100 headphones that listened to her giggle is completely worth
yeah,
it.
I mean, it's because now she's like in this little space, and like she doesn't know that she needs to be big to be observed. She can just like listen to this thing, and it was just so hilarious and so great. So
You're getting into the ages with them where they really start, you as a parent can really start to observe their learning. You can
yeah.
see it
Oh,
happen, and it's so amazing to watch how quickly they absorb and
so
learn
smart,
things. It's
and
so
like
awesome.
it
Yes.
is like everybody kind of talks about this, and it's like, oh, that's a cliche or whatever. Their brains absorb so much
Yeah.
information, and you're just like, I hope I didn't say that in front of
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of things that I've said, and then like they just repeat it, and they don't repeat it
Let
like the
let
next day.
let me
No, no, no,
tell
no, no,
you.
no. It's 4 months later. It's 4 months
Yeah.
later, and you're like, did I
Let me
say
tell
that?
you that really happens. You really need to, as parents, we all need to watch what we say in front of our kids, even when you don't think that they're listening, because they pick up on how you how you react to things, especially how you react to things. There was one thing that I had said in front of Alex a couple of times in my past when he was talking about when he was in middle school. You know how middle schoolers are, and he was talking
Yeah,
about it was music in particular, and he was talking about how his friends. I hate this band. It was maybe it was like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, and they were like, he was
right.
like, my friends said they hate the Beatles. They hate the Beatles. And I said this just a couple of times to him in the past, years ago. I said, man, I don't want you to have that kind of attitude. I don't have that kind of attitude. I don't hate a band. I might not like the band and it might not be my preferred music, but you can't hate like the Beatles. You might not like them, but you
Right.
can't say that, you have to respect them. You respect where the music came from, respect who it influenced, because you are listening to artists you like today, and that artist was probably influenced by the Beatles, and if they weren't, they were influenced by an artist that was influenced. So I taught him, I would say that a couple of times. You need to respect the bands and don't hate this.
Right.
Well, now that he's almost 15 and he's really into music, and he has that attitude. And I heard him say that. I overheard him say that to somebody one time, and I thought, he heard that from me. And that, so as a parent, we need to, anything that we react
Mm,
to. And that was just
yeah.
one example about a band that I said, but anything
Yeah.
that we react to, if we're in the car and our children are there and we flip out over somebody, how are they going to think the appropriate
Yeah.
response in a
Yeah.
car
Hey,
is?
listen, I don't need a lecture right now.
Oh, I know,
Because
I know.
that
Hey,
definitely happened. It definitely happened. But I try to contain it a little bit, but I mean, you're right. The kids are,
okay.
they are so, um, I don't know, they just absorb everything. And
Yeah.
it's astonishing. And of course,
Mhm.
I think they're geniuses, and it must be
Yeah.
something that I'm doing right.
Of course. Of course. Our
There,
kids
there
are
must be a
smarter. Our kids are smarter than this generation of kid. Every generation is smarter than the last, but especially with our kids having the access to technology that has never before been able, like their whole lives they have access to the any information in the world, and we didn't at their
Right.
age. So they are smarter than us. And as a parent, I have had to realize that
Oops.
really quickly that I don't need to be my parent or our parents who were automatically dismissive of us because we were younger and dismissive of our opinions because we were younger. My children are 15, 14, 15, 17, and they have proven me wrong on several things before when I have been the
Right.
big bad adult going, "No, that's not right. The earth is flat," when I've said something that it was taught to me a long ass time ago, and they're like, "No." And by the time we look it up online, I'm the one that's wrong. So I have been humbled like 3 times doing that exact same scenario where I was the adult and I was right, and then we looked it up and my ass was wrong and they
Right.
were right. So I have learned really quickly that I don't need to be that I'm the adult and I'm always right. I need to be like, "Oh, really? Well, maybe I was taught wrong. Let's look that up," because
Yeah.
we were all taught wrong. We don't want to
Yeah, for
admit that
sure.
we were
There's
wrong, but we were taught wrong on a lot of things.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, man. So,
So that's
all
cool. I
right.
mean, you got to experience
Yeah.
something in a
That
long
that
road trip yesterday.
there
You got a
it
true
was
road
a
trip.
it was a big I'm gonna move this. It was a like a difficult drive, and we've had traveled with him before, but it was extra difficult. But
It's a
there's like
rite of
when
passage.
there's you better appreciate those moments because like you don't know
Exactly.
when they're coming again. Really.
Exactly. Let me tell you, JJ, let me tell you this. I will never forget this. This is a heart-wrenching moment for me. Okay. My daughter Maggie, who you seen walk in here not too long ago. My daughter Maggie used to live right here. She sat
Yeah.
right here. She lived right here. She was my symbiote. She lived
Yeah.
on me. I was constantly holding my daughter all the time. And there was one day when she was little and I picked her up and she goes, "Daddy, one day I'm going to be so big that you won't be able to pick me up anymore." And she was just being a little kid and she was fantasizing about being big, but I'm like, stab me in the heart. That's the worst thing
Yeah.
that anyone has ever said to me in my life. You can kill me now. I want to go die. So
Yeah.
so fast forward to
Soak
a
it
couple
in.
of years ago. Yeah, and that line hit me because I knew, oh my God, one
That's
day
true,
I'm
kid.
not ever going to be able to pick up my daughter again. And so fast forward to a couple of years ago, we're in Alex's bedroom at the house, at our old house, and we were standing in Alex's bedroom, and Maggie, she jumped up and I picked her up. And when she did, my back went all the way up. And I
Oh
held her there
man.
for a second and I put her down and she ran out of the room and I looked at Ashley and I said, "That's the last time I'm ever going to pick up my daughter." And that was the last time I ever picked her up.
Yeah, that's sad. That's
Yeah,
sad.
so like you said, I know that's a heart-wrenching moment, but you say that, but I pick at you all the time and I want you
Yeah.
have to remember these moments, soak them up.
Yeah.
Don't be screwing
It's
around
so
on your
important.
computer or
And
your
I hope
phone doing something. Pay attention to
yeah,
your
and
children.
we can get so like consumed with like stuff we're working on or whatever, right?
Me.
It can be so difficult to find the right balance. It's so I don't know. I'm not telling anybody else how to live either. I'm just
I'm not
saying
either,
like
but find the right
boy,
balance.
boy,
Put the phone
it's
down, and the work is not as important as is listening to your daughter
no.
giggle, listening to a video.
Although you're right. So I can't seem to float this thing around. Let me. There are some things that are important. Obviously, your children are the most important, and then like below that, you got your fam. Your I don't know what your pyramid is, but you got your faith, you got your family, you got your wife, your relationship, whatever, and then you have to subscribe to rumble.com/JJW. It's on the pyramid. It's not the top, but it's on there. you gotta you need to make sure that you hit subscribe
Oh,
and
that was
like
great.
Deacon, I'm just gonna let you know right now I have only got one screen, so I cannot monitor the chat,
Okay, I'm
and
watching the chat. There's nobody in here. Well, it's not
that
really
includes
doing anything.
it's mine is just looping and doing weird stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened.
Ooh, that's
Turn that off.
cool. Sorry.
Yeah, but it doesn't ever work. So I can't see any chat. And Brian, I saw you over on Rumble, but I just can't stay on the streams
Here, I
on
can
the
go
screen
over to
over there.
Rumble and monitor that
Yeah,
one.
so if you can just kind of like check
Yeah.
out comments, whatever. All right, so we got a bunch of news stories, guys. We have some sad stuff, but it's also like it's not all sad. It is some of it is going to be like um, inspiring. I believe inspiring. So definitely not this first one though. This Deacon found this. This is awful. Alabama, Deacon, tell us about Alabama. This
uh,
is dreadful.
let me get the. Are you going to throw the story up, or you want me
No, I
to?
know. I've only got the one screen, so I'm gonna have to let
Okay,
you do.
let me throw the stories. I'll do. I'll get the stories then. So yeah, Alabama. Let me get. There's a million buttons you got to hit here. Okay, Alabama. I saw this morning at like 4:30 a.m. when I woke up. Alabama is pausing executions after the third failed lethal injection. How
Now, is
did
this
you?
third different person, or is this third
I
like the
hope it's
same
the
guy?
third bird. I hope it's not the same dude, man.
Oh my god!
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey sought a pause in executions and ordered a top to bottom review of the state's capital punishment system Monday after an unprecedented third failed lethal injection. Um, she goes through and says the move followed the uncompleted execution Thursday of Kenneth Eugene Smith, which was the state's second such instance of being unable to put an inmate to death in the past 2 months, and the third since 2018. The state completed an execution in July, but only after a 3-hour delay caused at least partly by the same problem with starting an IV line. I guess I don't. It doesn't say what the problem is. Um, but you know what would solve this failed lethal injection, Alabama? Not using
I
lethal
mean,
injection.
I you know
A 22
I could be
bullet.
convinced of I could be convinced. I am at the point in my kind of life where I could really be convinced that the state, and by the state I mean neither the state of Alabama nor any of the states nor the federal government nor anybody else, the state should not have maybe shouldn't have the power to take human lives. I could maybe be convinced of that argument. Now, I I I also, you know, um, am deeply sympathetic to victims of violence, the people that have, because I mean, we seen there's honestly news stories every single day that I don't put in the news that I don't we don't cover here, but like homicides. I've seen stories of like entire families being killed. So like in that
Yeah,
situation, I mean, in that situation, if I was there and my family was gone, yeah, I'm gonna be for a death penalty, and I'm not gonna wait for the state. So
it
um,
says Alabama's execution of Joe Nathan James Jr. took several hours to get underway in July because of problems establishing an IV line, leading anti-death penalty group to claim the execution was botched. In September, the state called off the scheduled execution of Alan Eugene Miller because of difficulty accessing his veins. Miller said in a court filing that prison staff poked him with needles for more than an hour and at one point left him hanging vertically on a gurney before announcing they were stopping. Prison officials have maintained the delays were a result of the state carefully following procedures. It doesn't sound like it's a botched failed lethal injection. Then it sounds like these fucking inmates are doing something to are purposefully dehydrating themselves or something to make their veins not. I mean, I just come from the hospital last month, and I had to have IVs and my blood taken all the dang time, and my veins are like this freaking
yeah.
big, man. Nobody ever has a problem finding my veins, and I know not everybody's the same, but doesn't. Isn't that what it sounds like? It sounds like you either have
Well, all right.
incompetent
So
an incompetent phlebotomist. It's not a phlebotomist, but an incompetent person that can't find a
yeah, okay.
vein.
So let's think about that for a second. Who's the person doing this,
I mean,
right?
it would have to be a
They
doctor. You
that
wouldn't have
person
a
doesn't have.
nurse or a phlebotomist or somebody. It would have to be a doctor that would be
It
doing
would have
this.
to be a doctor doing this, and it'd have to be a doctor that does this as a specialty, because you're
Right.
not going to be like, oh, hey, bring in that roaming phlebotomist. We just need to get a line put in.
Yeah.
That's never going to happen. No,
No.
nobody, people are not going to be like, and a normal a phlebotomist, we'll say phlebotomist, that has common practice hitting veins and hitting nerves and stuff, not going to be put in for a death penalty, and they're not going to associate a normal person with this. This is going to be like a specialty type thing. And now, of the people that do this job, how much practice do they get? How much
So,
practice do they get? Because I
well,
know my veins are hard to hit. I have gone to get a blood draw before, and they have literally stuck me 8 times just to get blood out. So sometimes it's can be very difficult. Okay.
we have a couple of comments, but I'm making sure that I'm getting my news on here real quick because my stuff is messing up. A couple of comments on Rumble. Massive disaster. Hello, massive disaster. Thank you for showing up. Massive disaster says, wait, haven't they been perfecting lethal injection since 2001? Dot 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 question mark. And then they say the government should try not killing people. Didn't we fight a revolution because of that kind of thing? So thank you for hanging out with
I
us.
think that I think that may be Jeremy. I'm not sure because he uses the same handle in Discord. Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
But that might be Jeremy. But uh, I think it partially is a matter of like the people doing this job. They don't do it often enough to be proficient or highly proficient, and then you have perhaps inmates are purposefully dehydrating on purpose just to make it more difficult. Because like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you try to save your own life by like, oh my
No,
god,
you're not going to save your life just by dehydrating
this guy's
yourself.
not dead. This guy's not dead.
Do you think they're not going to complete the job? That's the
I don't
freaking.
know, man. I don't know.
I
All I
feel
know
strongly
is,
on this subject, and
are you strongly anti-death penalty? Is that how you feel, or like
no,
what's your position on it? You said you feel strongly. I don't know what your
I,
position is.
I I think that we should have the death penalty. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
okay.
I do.
Well, I mean, I definitely think there's cases for which that is like the
Absolutely,
only
there are,
remedy.
and there are going to be errors. That's
Yeah,
just I
it's
do. I
it's not that I don't think people don't deserve death sometimes. It's that I'm increasingly reluctant to um, concede those kind of powers to the state government, to any state, to
I
any
I
government.
I agree with that, but I mean, it's always been a society thing, a mob reaction.
Yeah.
So now we at least have have civilized it
So
up a little bit.
yeah. So
We've
it's more
civilized the killing
legitimate
up
than
a
a
little.
lynch mob.
Yeah,
Okay, we'll agree
we've
on that.
legitimized the lynch mob a little bit, but
I
I
don't know
just
what is up with
I'm
this
one of
thing.
those people that believe that there are some things in the world, that some acts that people do that are so heinous that they do not
Right.
deserve to live anymore.
Okay. Well, we're gonna move off of that. We got a lot of other things to discuss.
Yeah, some fun stuff, some cool stuff. So that was the only
Yeah,
crazy
but
one.
yeah, well, that's that one is the most gruesome.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah. For
we
most.
talked a few days about Jay. Can you bring up Jay, the Jay story? Do you have it on there?
Yeah, Jay Leno. Do-do-do-do.
And then I think I put the Sinbad one in there too, right?
I saw the Sinbad one. Yeah, yeah.
So we're
All
gonna
right.
do Jay,
So
Sinbad, and then Chris.
okay, here's Jay.
So last week, you guys, actually it was like 10 or 11 days ago. Jay Leno had a incident in his garage, and I believe one of his cars either caught fire or exploded or something. And Jay has been released from the hospital, and you can see burn burn damage to his throat and face area, and then also down his left hand is kind of shadowed behind him there, but his hands are burned up too, pretty badly. But it looks like he's going to make a recovery. Maybe he won't necessarily. Maybe he's going to be. I mean, he's going to be scarred now, but he's he's definitely more okay. Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, I like Jay Leno. He wasn't always my favorite comedian, but I didn't hate the guy.
Right.
You
No,
know?
of course not. And I wouldn't want any of this to happen to anybody.
No, no, no,
So,
absolutely not.
but that's just kind of the status update on Jay. He's not debilitated. He's not, in a life-threatening critical situation. He's
Look at Jay's
scarred.
hair there, man. It looks like he's been a 20-year smoker.
It
What's up with the color
does
of
look
Jay's hair?
does look a little yellowed, but that could be the camera or the lights.
Nah, it's
Because
true.
I'm pretty sure he's got that, you know,
Well, I'm glad he's
white
okay. I
hair.
mean, yeah, he definitely got injured there, man. That's terrible,
Yeah.
but it's oh, there's his other hand. Look.
Yeah, see, yeah, it's pretty
Ah,
burned up. Okay, hey, what's up, kid?
She wants to say hi before she eats.
Okay.
Hi, all right, let's go eat some coffee and some muffins.
This one has been
We watched Cinderella.
difficult for an hour or so.
Lily, who's mommy's Prince Charming?
Daddy. That's right. That is absolutely right.
I want to go for this way.
No.
Yeah, Papa's sleeping.
that's awesome.
Okay. All right there. So let's see. Sinbad. I'm gonna be.
I'm
I'm
laughing at
gonna.
you.
I know, man. I'm doing the best I can.
No, I'm laughing at your brother.
What did my brother say?
he's revealing his secrets. All right. Sinbad. I did not know this about Sinbad. I don't guess I remembered that he had a stroke.
I have to be honest, dude. Sinbad is one of these guys that I constantly think, well, didn't he die? Isn't he already dead? And I feel so bad about it, but it's that's like the truth. I haven't seen Sinbad in years, and I thought maybe he passed or something. I did not know he had a stroke. I had no idea.
I saw Sinbad twice in concert in his comedy routine. Twice, two different years. And man, I love the guy. Oh yeah, when he was in his peak, man, I love Sinbad. He was so funny. He's so funny, man. His reactions, yeah, his humor. He was so quick. He's so funny.
And then look at him. I mean, isn't that photo? Go back up to that photo. This is him. Here's the thing that's kind of inspiring here. This is a guy that has been laid low by a stroke, and you can't do anything to prevent that from coming on you. But he is fighting to regain control of his life. He is fighting to learn to walk again, and he is not curling up and being defeated. You know what I mean? He's trying to acquire mobility again, acquire independence again.
We were just watching something the other day where he had a bit part. Oh, it was Good Burger. We had Good Burger on the other day, and he's got that part in Good Burger because that's whose car he runs over, that Kenan Thompson runs over in the movie. You ever seen that movie?
Really? No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a cute little kids movie from the 90s.
He always kind of had kind of outrageous outfits a little bit.
Yeah,
he always loud and vibrant kind of colors.
He always looked good, man.
Yeah.
He looked good. Well, that sucks. Well, I'm glad that he's doing better, but I don't guess I realized that he had a stroke 2 years ago. Jeez.
I had no idea.
Well, I'm glad Sinbad's doing better because I really like him. He was funny back in the day. I don't know anything about his personal life or anything like that.
Yeah, I really don't either. Other than he's fighting to get through recovery, and I find that to be.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all right.
I was just going to say I'm going to throw this other story up on the screen for you, and I'll let you talk about it because I have to take a break here in 30 seconds.
Okay. All right. Cool. So this I saw this morning. Chris Hemsworth has announced a hiatus from acting and perhaps also a hiatus from mad genius directors. So Chris Hemsworth has uh, decided to take a hiatus from acting while filming the Disney Plus series Limitless. It was discovered that he has a genetic predisposition to Alzheimer's disease. Now, Alzheimer's is bad juju. Okay, it is not good stuff that will like make your I mean, you basically lose. You get kind of like trapped in your own mind or whatever. And anyway, so I believe his both of his parents carry this recessive gene that is associated with an increased risk of Alzheimer's. So he told Vanity Fair, it really triggered something in me to make sure, to take some time off. And since we finished the show, I've been completing things that I was already contracted to do. Now, when I finish this press tour this week, I'm going to go home. I'm going to have a good chunk of time off, and I'm just going to simplify, be with my kids, be with my wife. That diagnosis comes from the existence of a gene called APOE4. And in his case, he has two copies, one from each of his parents. So 25% of people carry a single copy of the gene, but only 2 to 3% of people have two copies of the gene. And if you have two copies of a gene, I mean, they're like, it actually could actually trigger.
I think I just screwed it up.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking. What happened? Just don't put up any.
Tried to remember. Oh, I got it right. Oh, thank you. I was trying to remember a song and who sang it off a random 70s song off the top of my head, and I doing that break, and I forgot, and I mentioned it, and I got it right. So go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I sound like an idiot on the air, and today was not one of those times. So
you are super competent. You're more competent than you believe. Chris went on to say, for me, the positive it was like, right, I don't know if this Alzheimer's information, I wouldn't have made the changes I made. I just wasn't aware of any of it. So now I feel thankful that I have my arsenal of sort of tools to prepare myself and prevent things from happening in that way.
So he told Vanity Fair that the diagnosis came from the existence of a gene. So he has a gene that
okay, so his
he's
25.
I see it.
He's predisposed. Yeah, 25% of people have this APOE4 gene, and only 2 to 3% have two copies of it. And he got one copy from each of his parents.
Oh.
If you have two copies of a recessive gene, it's way more likely that recessive gene can like activate. So he has 8 to 10 times the likelihood that he could develop Alzheimer's. And so with that in mind, he's going to make some other changes in his life to
for him.
Prioritize family, and he's already got outrageous success, but he's going to prioritize family. Yeah, for sure. However,
absolutely. Way to go, dude.
Apparently he also recently
Thor-ish. Yeah. That's something Thor would do.
Like, I mean, besides, after seeing Thor: Love and Thunder, I'm not sure I need another Thor movie, and it's not his fault. It's just
Thor for president, Brian Perkins says. Shit. I agree.
Control-0. All right. Apparently, he did say he did not want to work with any more mad genius directors, which may have been a jab at Taika Waititi, who directed Thor: Love and Thunder and turned it into a giant super woke movie. Taika Waititi. Maybe a little bit overrated. All right. What's up with? Yeah, I mean, hey, nobody's perfect.
I got one. I got a story for you, JJ.
Let's go.
I got something. This is something that we talked about on an earlier show, and I saw it come up this morning. I thought, ooh, JJ want to see this. Look, I have the first image of Phoebe Waller-Bridge as
oh my gosh,
Indiana
the new
Jones's goddaughter Helena in Indiana Jones 5. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm excited. I wish she had like blue hair though.
No,
like, wouldn't it have been like, oh come on, no?
No, can you not see? What does it look like? Are you not seeing the big picture?
No, I'm looking on my own screen, and it is a big picture. It's big picture. It looks like they're in like, I don't know, Greece or Rome or something. They got these tall columns and the like Parthenon type thing.
Look,
And then Harrison Ford is looking
look at this first
older.
comment. I agree. 5,000 upvotes. I'm curious how they write out Mutt and Marion. Okay. I am too.
Just pretend they didn't exist. That's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna we're just not gonna talk about it.
Okay, we have
he died in a cryogenic plane crash.
Yeah, I mean, how are they? Because I guess they said Helena there is Indy's goddaughter, so I'm okay with that. Making her, whip. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Tell the story good. I'm okay. Just tell the story good. That's
who was that guy that was in all of the Indy movies? Legendary actor. He actually died a few years ago. I'm gonna look him up real quick.
Oh, that's
you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, he played Arturo in Sliders, and he was Gimli. Yes. And it's God, if you wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you his name any other time.
So let's see. Wouldn't it be great if she was his daughter?
Oh, that would be great.
Let's see if I can.
Hello, Indy. Yes, Indy. He talked like this. Indy, come with me, Indy.
John Rhys Davies.
John Rhys Davies. Yes, John Rhys Davies.
Wouldn't it be great if that was John Rhys Davies' character's kid?
Dude, that's cool. That's good. That's a good. I like that.
Yeah,
that would be great. It says it's his goddaughter, so it's got to be.
Right.
It's got to be either his or what was the other old man's name?
What other relationships did Indiana Jones maintain?
That's what we're getting at. So there's him, and then there's the old man that was the hello, Indy. The one that rides off on the horse, and he's at the end, and his dad goes, he once got lost in his own museum. You know the older guy that I'm talking about? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about Wakanda Forever and performance and what's going on right there. So I meant to include some of this in yesterday's show because yesterday we did talk about Disney, Bob Chapek, and bringing back Bob Iger for 2 years while they figure out some other solution. You know what the the market reaction to that news yesterday was that Disney stocks took a jump up. They became more valuable just by saying we're firing Bob Chapek and we're bringing back Bob Iger.
Marcus Brody. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Marcus Brody.
Marcus Brody. It could be his daughter.
Okay.
Marcus Brody.
So Wakanda Forever is slightly underperforming. I don't feel like this is a giant shock for this, but Wakanda Forever has now been in theaters for 2 weeks. It's finished its opening weekend. It finished this last weekend was its second weekend. Every single movie after the first week, there is going to be a box office drop. So you're going to have a huge opening, and then you're going to have a revenue drop, but it'll continue to kind of tick up, as it accumulates dollars over the, days and weeks that follow the launch. But it almost never is as popular as the first weekend. So usually there's something like a, 40, 50, 60% drop. Wakanda Forever took in $67.3 million to raise the domestic total to $288. It's now closing in on $550 million worldwide. That's about $3 million below the $70 million projection, but nobody seems to be reporting on this, I guess, in major media. That's what this story says. And there's also a lot of whataboutism kind of excusing it because, Black Adam is performing way worse than Black Panther. So Black Panther must be a comparative success, right? So I pulled up the projections, and I think let me see if I can get this to show. Based on the opening revenue of, here we go. Based on the opening week's revenue, which was something like $170 million, there should be Here, that's the third day. Here's the fourth day. So about $170 million opening. Based on the opening weekend, this gray space is the projected kind of performance range. It should, based on opening weekend, the best
Right.
performance would be kind of the top of this curve, and the
Right.
worst expected performance would be the bottom of the curve. And you can see the actual revenues on this line are below the performance
We
expectation
predicted
curve.
this. We predicted
Yeah,
this
of
on
course,
this
of
show.
course.
We have it
So yeah,
recorded.
so that means that as the theater has been out and word of mouth is circulating, the
Whoa,
word of mouth.
no,
Go ahead.
keep talking. I just wanted you to
The
stop.
word the word of mouth about this movie is not accelerating performance. It is basically like, oh, it's woke, or it's um, you know I think that honestly, there's a lot of criticism about this movie being fairly racist and having these racist undertones.
Well, maybe.
So,
Okay, so you've got some most anticipated movies over there on the side, and
oh
then
yeah,
the Lord of the Rings, The Way of the Rohirrim. I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, the Avatar, The Way of the Water. I saw a little blurb. I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline that said something to the effect of that film is going to have to like make $1 billion, $2 billion. It was an ungodly amount of money that film was going to have to make in order to turn a profit or
The Way
whatever.
of Water. Is
That
this an
new
animated film, or is this
No, it's
another
that
live
new
action?
dumbass James Cameron Avatar, Blue People. I'm trying to start a
Oh, oh,
whole.
oh! I
All
was
he's doing
thinking
is
Last Way
trying.
Airbender.
No, that's James Cameron. When the last Airbender came out, when they were trying to do the movie, M. Night Shyamalan was trying to do the movie.
Right.
Cameron had already copyrighted the Avatar name. And so
Yeah.
they couldn't. That's why they had to call it and so it screwed up everything. And James
Right.
Cameron, all he's trying to do is become George Lucas. He's trying to make a George Lucas world. You know, George Lucas
Yeah.
created his own
He's.
world, and that's all he's trying to do with this Avatar. And it's like 20 years too late. I don't give two craps about seeing this movie, and
I have
nobody
no
gives two
interest at all.
craps about seeing this movie. This is going to mark my words today, November 22nd, that
You think
this
it's going to
movie will
be
be an enormous flop.
flop?
Enormous. It will, like you just said a second ago with Wakanda Forever, it will have a big weekend, opening weekend, and it will slowly go down. But this one's going to
I
go.
mean, I like.
Nobody gives a crap about this.
I think I've seen a trailer of like some like bird things flying or diving in the water, and I'm just like, man, like if this movie had come out like a year or two after the first
After
one,
the first
yeah,
one,
you would have had momentum. But the first one had made like $1 billion, and it took advantage. It took heavy advantage of the gimmick of watching movies in 3D. Have you seen
right?
a movie in 3D in the last 10
And
years?
and
No.
the other thing about that movie was it came out when technology to produce that type of graphics was not as prevalent as it is today. You know, when Jurassic Park, that first one came out and we saw that dinosaur for the first time, it blew you away. But now when you watch it, you're kind of like, oh, I can see the flaws.
Right.
You know, but when that Avatar came out for the first time, that first one, you were like, "Whoa, looks real."
I
We've
mean, I
seen
think I watched
real
it
for 20
twice in the
years
theater.
now. You know, I never watched it as theater.
Oh, you never did? I
Yeah,
mean, like, you know, I watched it. We watched it for the novelty. We watched it
yeah.
for the
That's
novelty of
that's
watching a movie in the
that's
theater,
that's it.
a 3D movie in the
Yeah.
theater. And we saw it once or twice. I probably saw it once with my brother, and then I was like, watched it once with my wife or something like that.
I don't get 3D movies. My eyes have always they focus so strangely that
Yeah.
3D it never worked for me. And I never knew why. You know, everybody. I never saw the 3D like everybody else did. They would always be like, "Oh, that was awesome," and I'm like, "I don't see anything." Well, it was because my eyes were screwed up as a young person, and I didn't realize until I got older and go to the optometrist, and they're like, "Oh, your eyes are screwed up. You need prisms all in your glasses." And I'm like, "Oh, that's why I can't see 3D because my eyes are." So I never got the novelty of 3D. It just didn't
Yeah,
work.
well, you're not missing much.
That's what
So,
I always heard.
I feel like it makes my wife like nauseous or sick or something.
Hmm.
And yeah, and it's well, I mean, I don't know. Like, he better have some other giant gimmick up his sleeve because like 3D ain't it. So I mean, I'm expecting this thing to underperform, and I think he filmed two movies back together. So like he's gonna have to cover an enormous budget to make even. But then again, he has a totally different problem than anybody else, right? James Cameron has the problem of he's been wildly outrageously successful and has so much cash to burn. He's got to do something with it, right? So like if you don't invest it into a project that can make even more, then like what's the point? So I don't know. I can tell you, I just don't care about Avatar. Honestly, when you mentioned it, I was like, "Oh, are they making an Avatar: The Airbender sequel?
Oh,
Why would they
no.
do
Do you
that?"
know about that? I mean, I'm more excited about that. Me and Alex are beyond the moon about this, okay? So listen, they're Netflix, you might have to get do you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, the
I
cartoon?
watched I watched most of the original series. I
Yeah.
never watched the what
Korra?
it was like it, yeah, I never watched the Korra
Don't
show.
worry about that. You're not
Yeah,
missing
it's
anything.
like that was like, oh, it's them, but they're older, and I was like,
No,
what's the point of that?
it's
I don't
not
want to
them
see
older.
that.
It's not them older, it was most of them dead. And only a
Oh,
couple of them
really?
yeah, like Katara's in her late 80s or 90s or something like that, or 100. I don't know how old she was. Anyway, no, they are doing a live action Avatar Netflix, but it is supposed to be straight taken from it's not condensed down like book one in
Okay.
the movie,
So they're adapting. They're like
they're
doing a real
adapting,
adaptation.
yes, but there's supposed to be episodes. They have picked all these different actors to be these people. They've showed who they are. Some of the people are pretty big. Um, some pretty big names that I mean, not
Can we
huge names,
see? Can
but
we see
names.
some of this? I haven't seen
Yeah,
any
yeah,
of
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me find this right now.
Avatar, Netflix. That sounds interesting. Should put
Oh,
this in
dude,
the show.
it's straight up. Okay, so I'm just gonna share my screen right here.
Yeah, sure. Oh
Um,
my gosh, look at him with the
so
with the
here's Aang.
hair buffalo.
So this little kid's Aang. You've got this kid who's Sokka, and he really look at his face. Look at his
Yeah,
facial structure
it's
in
got
that
that.
picture. Doesn't he look
Yeah,
just like Sokka? I mean,
yeah,
that he
yeah,
looks
yeah.
just like Sokka. And so, Katara,
Okay,
this girl's playing Katara.
okay. Hey, she looks like Katara was kind of an island girl. She looks like she's
Mhm.
got like Pacific Island in her.
Zuko,
Absolutely. There you go. He will do. That'll do.
Zuko, Daniel Day Kim as Fire Lord Ozai.
No one's gonna fight that. He's great.
Now, Paul's son, Hyung, I guess that's how Hung Lee. Um,
Yeah,
he was Appa on Kim's Convenience. He's been in the Star Wars movies. He is Iroh. And that is the most perfect pick ever. I can't wait.
all right.
Wait.
Okay.
King Boomy is a dude from Ghosts. The TV show that is pretty popular that I watch, where it's
Yeah.
Danny Pundy from
Yeah.
Community is
Okay.
is the mechanic, the mechanist. He's the guy when they go to the air temple, I was like the northern air temple or the southern, and all those people have kind of like they live in the air temple now, and the one kid that's in the
Yeah.
wheelchair can fly. He's the crazy inventor guy. So
Okay.
if they've cast for that character, they're doing a true,
Yeah,
adaptation.
they're doing those storylines
Yeah, because
or
that was where the
something very
airbenders
similar.
or the firebenders come attack. But
Wow.
um Commander, what was his name?
Yeah.
Zone.
Oh, I like this guy. I've seen this
Yeah,
guy
he
in some
was
stuff.
yeah, he's
He's been
He's
in
been
Lost. He was
everything.
in Star Wars, but I've
Wasn't
seen
he
him in
in?
Rush Hour. He was in. So this is exciting. And the great thing about this, Netflix, even though I kind
Mhm.
of don't like Netflix,
Look
the
at this.
great thing about
Amazing.
this is that there is such a low bar such a low hurdle to cross, because we have already seen Amazon just totally make Lord of the Rings just like unwatchable. And there's some other series that's like basically unwatchable right now. So
What
like all you have to do is make something uh, slightly entertaining. This guy was
Paku?
in
He plays
yeah.
Paku.
This guy played that guy was in oh, it's not Justified. It's this series about a sheriff like in Minnesota or something like that.
So yeah,
Reservation, and he's in.
this is huge. Me and Alex and I are greatly looking forward to this movie. Ty Lee, Princess Yui.
Yeah, looks fun.
Um,
So is it gonna be like a mini series or a?
yeah, I think so. Um, and so the other thing is they are making a. I don't know if I'd be able to find it or not. I don't want to go looking for it.
Oh, I got some information here. Oop.
No,
So
they
it's
are.
gonna be.
Go
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 ahead.
ahead. No, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I got it's a 10 hour long episodes were expected, but it looks like it may be 8. That's good because that means that they're trimming the fat and it's not going to be like padded and have boring episodes like they did with Daredevil and a bunch of the Netflix shows they've done before.
Yeah, but if they're
The
remaking
series
the
is
cartoon, I want them to remake the cartoon. I don't want them to cut anything out.
okay. Well, I mean, you maybe got to do a little bit, find an audience, and make sure that it tracks, and then you
We've
can
already
keep
got
going.
an audience. The audience
Yeah,
loves Avatar. We
yeah,
want
but
to watch the full thing.
that audience rejected the movie.
How
The
many?
audience said no way to that movie.
No, no. The true Avatar fans don't mind the movie. We wanted them to finish it. M. Night Shyamalan got screwed making that movie, and that's why he stopped making it. Is because he got screwed. He got his hands tied, and he didn't want his hands tied. He wanted to make the movie. M. Night Shyamalan
So
was a huge Avatar fan as well. He wanted to make it like
right.
just like it was, and they tied his hands.
So apparently the filming was expected to run until June 2022. So they should have already finished filming.
I've seen some
And
film shots.
and the original creators of the Nickelodeon series are not involved in the
Mm-mm.
production. Okay.
DiMartino and whatever the other guy's name is. They're also making a movie that's supposed to come out in the next couple of years where the movie is actually set years in the future from the original gang of Aang and Katara and Sokka and Toph. And it's them as 20, 30-year-olds and their actual what they do, because you went from them as 10, 11, 12 years old to the Legend of Korra, and Aang's dead because Korra's the new Avatar,
Right.
and Katara's in her 80s or 90s, and Sokka's dead, and Toph's dead. I think Toph's dead. I think. So, Zuko's an old man. So now they're going to do this movie where the fans kept saying, we want to see the original gang. What did they do in their life? We will buy these stories. Tell us these stories, please. So they are.
So that's pretty cool. I did not know they were making a Netflix show. Maybe when that comes out, if it's good, maybe I'll check it out. Okay, this is the last thing that we're going to go. I saw
okay.
this morning or maybe yesterday. Apparently in China.
Is this
over
your other story here?
Yeah.
Well, I just
Apparently in
want to show up
China.
my other one real quick then too.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll throw up this your story here.
Yeah.
I'll share the screen.
I was gonna run the video clip with no sound. So
okay. Go ahead.
Apparently in China, yeah, I can do that. I can do it.
Yeah, if you got
it. Here. I don't know what's up with my computer and just barely operate the mouse right now. All right, so in China, there's some mystery of these sheep that have been walking in a circle for 12 days, and nobody exactly knows why. So this was posted, I guess, on like TikTok or something like TikTok in China. These Look at these sheep. They're walking in a perfect
Didn't China
circle.
own TikTok over here? Wait a minute. So what are
Yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
They're
sorry.
just the sheep are just
Yeah.
walking in a circle, and like, look, it's like a perfect circle, and they're not stopping,
It's
and
like
it's
those
not really
ants
clear.
that do that death circle in the.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
ants do
it's
that sometimes. When they lose track, they just circle each other. Have you never seen those?
no.
This is weird though, but
So
the sheep, that's why we call people sheep, because if for people that don't know about sheep and farms, sheep, you line them up and they will literally
yeah,
follow the asshole in front of them.
yeah,
Get it? Literally follow the
yeah, yeah.
asshole in front of them. That's why I've always called people sheep, is because those people will literally follow the asshole in front of them.
Sheep are not smart.
No.
Um, but there's apparently a disease, and it starts with an L or whatever, and it's
Hmm.
called
Really?
the circle disease, or the walking circle disease. But that disease normally kills animals in 48 hours. These sheep have been walking in this circle for 12 days. Now they definitely get like linked up into this herd bond that you're talking about, where could they move as they move as a herd, and that's like an animal instinctive thing to like evade predators. So if like a predator's coming, then they will move as an entire herd. So these sheep are just walking in a circle, and it's not even clear if they're stopping to eat or drink or anything. So it's kind of weird. I thought it was interesting and strange.
That
Like,
is strange. I
yeah,
got
a
one
little
more
bit.
strange one for you.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got?
Have you, as a child, did you have any pets? Did you have a goldfish or a hamster or anything like that?
We just had We had dogs, and my grandparents had dogs, or
So
we
you never had a
didn't.
goldfish, any fish?
I didn't. Not when I was a kid. No.
What if your daughters came up to you and said, "Daddy, I want a goldfish." Would you consider getting
Mm,
a goldfish for her? As a starter
no.
pet to see if she could feed it?
I, I I wouldn't do that because I think they smell.
Goldfish?
But go ahead.
I've never
Yeah, fish. You
smelled
have
a
to
goldfish.
fish tank. You have to clean a fish tank, and it's like my wife has had a goldfish before. My wife had a
Just to
goldfish in her office building, little
I
tiny one.
mean, if your daughters just wanted a little bitty tiny goldfish.
Mm, for dinner, a goldfish for dinner, because that looks like a an eaten fish. What the heck is that?
Jesus Christ.
That thing is enormous, and
Hey,
like it doesn't even look. It doesn't even look like like a like an aerodynamic sleek fish. That looks like a
real?
giant fat blubber ass like obese fish.
A UK fisherman became the envy of anglers everywhere after reeling in a 67-pound monster goldfish,
Wow.
potentially the world's largest. Andy Hackett, great name,
Is it really a
42,
goldfish? Is it
landed the
really?
behemoth aptly named the Carrot while fishing in the Blue Water Lakes in Champagne, France, one of the world's premier carp fisheries. I always knew the carrot was in there, but never thought I would catch it. So I guess this fish was known. Not a
Always,
goldfish
hold
per
on.
se. Okay, here, you're
Always,
right. You're right.
always. Oh, he said always knew it was in there. Never thought I would catch it. So this fish was like a local legend, and he was like, "I'm gonna get it and kill it. I'm gonna pull it out of the water and kill it."
Not a goldfish per se. The Fanta colored freak of nature is
Oh my
actually a
lord!
hybrid species of leather carp and a koi carp. See, it does kind of look like a koi, don't it?
I guess so.
An
Oh, I
ornamental
can.
fish. Yeah, everybody knows what a koi is. This particular
Yeah.
specimen, which is reportedly 20 years old, was apparently introduced to the lakes 15 years ago as something different for the anglers to try to catch. Since then, it has grown and grown, but doesn't often come out. She is very elusive. The
No
carrot,
kidding. Apparently, everybody wants to kill her.
yeah, no shit. I'd be elusive
I've
too.
been I've been I've been evading capture for 15 years. I've been doing a better job than an inmate in Alabama.
It said he spent 25 minutes reeling the monster in. The carrot tipped the scales at 67.4 pounds, which is 30 pounds heavier than what was previously considered the world's biggest goldfish caught by a Minnesota resident. Okay, here's what everybody wants to know. After landing his prize, Hackett posed for photos and released the critter back into the lake. Uh-oh.
Okay, tell him.
Deacon, we're at Grammy's house, right?
You are? Are you having fun?
I'm going to go over there, around there, and you go over there.
Oh, you're going to go in there and go around there and over there, around there?
And then we'll go to Papa.
Okay. All right. Love you.
Hey, what's this, Dad?
Yeah? Watch this. Oh, wow. Watch her leave a room.
That's awesome, though.
That's a big fish.
So what's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
I haven't been fishing since I was like 4 or 5 years old. With my grandmother, you know, she's gone now, but she took us out fishing at like a, I don't know, like a fish farm or something.
Yeah.
And anyway, I haven't been fishing in a long time, so. Stop. Go on. Go. No.
I grew up catfishing. My dad was a catfish.
Are you a fisherman?
I'm not John the fisherman now, but I used to be a fisherman.
Yeah.
We were cat fishermen. We did not bass. We would crappie fish sometimes and bluegill, of course. But we were cat fishermen, and we have a dam, Kentucky Dam, and you could fish below the dam. And the largest catfish I ever caught was a blue cat, and it weighed 32 pounds. And it was enormous. It took me forever to reel it in, I thought. The largest fish that I've seen caught was my uncle caught a 67 or 68 pound catfish one day. And that wasn't even like he had like 15 fish that day, and the smallest one was probably like 10 pounds. He had a 50 pounder, a 60 something pounder, a 50 pounder, and a couple of 30 pounders that he had caught that day. Huge.
It was a catfish farm that I've been to before, and I've caught catfish before, and I don't really have fond memories of fishing. We would bait the hook with worm, and then, you know, we fished them out. Now, I do have very fond memories of eating those catfish.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm a catfish snob too, because there is a certain way that we were taught to clean catfish, to clean your fish. And by doing so, you're taking off some of the meat, but you're cutting out this vein we call it the mud vein that goes down the middle of the fish. And when you cut that mud vein out, you have to cut some of the meat to get that vein out. So that's why people don't cut it out, because you lose some of the meat. But when you do that, you take out all of that fish taste, and you're left with a little piece of meat. You don't have a big piece because you've had to cut it. You have a little piece of meat that is the cleanest piece of white tasting. It's just
really?
clean. It doesn't taste like a fish. You know, that's the only when I eat a piece of fish and it tastes like a fish, I ain't eating that. That's not clean.
You don't go to Long John Silver's that often, I bet. All right.
Their stuff. Yeah.
Right.
I don't eat fish out.
Yeah. Well,
unless I know who cleaned it.
All right. Well, guys, that is really all the news we had this morning, and we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to find a better environment. I'm going to see if I can utilize the office over there. Deacon, can you just tell me, is it really echo in here? Is there like a lot of reverb?
It's more echoey than normal, but it's not it's not off-putting by any means.
It's not the worst.
I
tried. I had to set this up like
it's fine
in 30 or 40 minutes, so I was not able to, and this was the best room I could find. Obviously, my kids have got 2 ways in, so I realized that I cannot stop them from coming in. So, all right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow, guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, leave a comment on the video. I appreciate that so much when you do, because that really helps the internet. It tricks them into thinking that people like our show, And we need to trick a lot more people into thinking we like this show. So
Is it right up here?
I don't know. I don't know where it is, but here's the outro. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Nope, that's not the outro. This